Okay, a lot of people are going to be thrilled about this one. The Chopin Waltz in C sharp minor. It's finally here. I'll play for you first, maybe 10 seconds of the music, and then I'll show you how to do the whole thing. Okay, here we go. So this is something, if you don't know it by name, you've at least heard it somewhere in your life. Very, very famous work. So let's begin. But first, hit that notification bell to be made aware whenever I put out a new tutorial for film music or classical. We'll begin with the left hand. We're in C sharp minor. And this is waltz time, which means it's in 3/4 time. Not surprising there. And we're going to begin with a 4 on C sharp. You can use a 5, but I tend to use 4s on sort of single black notes because it's more secure. I use a pinky. It's a smaller finger. It might slip, but the 4 tends to be a little bit more secure. So take it or leave it. And then 2 of these. 4, 2, 1. Next bar. 1, 2, and 5. Twice. So the left hand is all just a slew of quarter notes. Next, G sharp. 4, 2, 1. Twice. And then 5. 4 and 1. Lift the 4, hold the 1, and connect that 1 to 4 and 2. There's your first main phrase. So once you have all those notes in place, then just stitch them together. They're all just quarters. There you go. Cool. Left hand is taken care of. Let's have a look at the right hand. The right hand begins with a pickup note on second finger G sharp. So if you remember, it'll be... Right, so this is the one that kind of introduces the piece. So 2 to 5. But keep the 2 down. Don't let go of the 2. Hold that for the first full bar. Right? Next bar we have 4 and 1. So far, pretty straightforward. Moving on, we're going to get... So that's 1, 2. Now this is a grace note. So 4 going to 3 and 1. And that grace note is just like a little flick. But to play it quickly and comfortably, I would suggest learning it like this. Learn all 3 of the notes at the same time. You just mash them all and let go of the 4. So it kind of works, right? It sounds like a grace note, just a very, very fast one. So that's a bit of a trick. Once you get comfortable with that, you can start to open up the space between the grace note and the 3 and 1. But I would suggest that's a good way of picking it up and learning it. If you do it the other way around, which is start slow and speed it up, you might form a little bit of tension in your wrist, and you don't want that. Okay, so moving on, we have 2, 1 again, and then 5, 1. So far, we're just doing notes. Don't worry about the rhythm. Next bar starts the same way. 1 and 2, next to grace note. Lift. Same 2 notes, but now 3 and 2. So 2 and 3, resolving to E and C sharp, 5 and 1. All right, so once more we have hold, hold, like that, and then all right. Now we put them together. The nice thing about the left hand is it's like your scaffolding, right? If the left hand is unchanging, because it's all quarters, then you can sort of fit the right hand around the left. So we'll begin the pickup, then together. So far so good, and together. Now the next bar. So what do we have here? We have this on its own, then this on its own, then the grace note with the left. You know, on paper, it should be this together, and the grace note precedes it by just a split second. But like I said, if you want to learn it the easiest way, just play all three notes at the same time, and then lift. Once you have that down, you can fiddle around with breaking it up and making sure that these three align with the left and not the grace note. But that, for now, is not what we're paying attention to. So, alone, alone, together, alone, together. And I think you know this music, you've heard it a million times, so you can kind of use your ear for this. As long as your left hand is generally evenly spaced, you just fit the right hand around it. The only one you have to really think about is going from 1 and 2 to 5 and 1, right? Because that's pretty fast. And you're gonna have to replay that thumb. Moving on. So, same sort of rhythm. Alone, alone, together. Lift everything but the thumb. And then, so this is alone, and then all of this comes in together. And if you find that's too messy, too muddy, which I do, you can play around with the pedaling to see what works for you. It's very difficult to say what's the right pedaling for this because it varies by instrument and by performer, by interpretation. Rubinstein will just pedal each quarter, so pedal for this, pedal for this, and then pedal for this. So each one gets its own pedal, but other pianos do something different. So you can kind of fiddle around with what you think is good. I would suggest maybe trying what Rubinstein did. I think it's a fairly good idea. But at the very least, when you learn the first two, you can do the first two under one pedal. You can do all of that under one pedal, and then change pedal there. But I'll go over the pedal in some, with a little bit more detail later on throughout the tutorial. So, we've got the first 4 bars down. Okay. Moving on. Left hand first, all quarters. Let's take care of that first. 5 on E. 2 of these, 1 and 2. Back to E. 1 and 2, but with an F sharp. Twice. Moving on. E again. Thumb on G sharp. And then thumb and 2. The final bar is A with the pinky. 1 and 2. And then bottom falls to D sharp, 3 and 1. So once more with no pausing. Cool. All quarters, pretty straightforward. Now the other hand. So we start off nice and easy. We start off with the exact same fingering and notes that we finished on. So we finished here, right? So 1 and 5, right? Then the next bar begins with the same notes. Easy enough. They both fall by a semitone. 5 and 2. And then the next section is identical rhythmically, and the figuring, the contours of the melody here are exactly the same, but the notes are different. Right? So we have 1 and 2. Again, we have that grace note, which I would recommend playing to start. So 1 and 2. Then 1 and 2 again. Quickly opening up to 1 and 5. Moving on. Same thing. 1 and 2. But the thumb falls to C sharp now. All right, so it doesn't stay on D, it's now on C sharp. So, and then we finish with a quick 1 and 2, and then 1 5. Once you have those notes down, and if I'm going too fast or just skipping over certain things that you need more time on, just slow the video down. YouTube gives you that ability to slow all of this stuff down and follow along as slow as you need to. Putting it together, same idea as the first 4 bars. Identical, really. So. That's easy enough. Then we have left, right, together, and then quick, together. And then the next bar, same sort of thing. Left, right, and together. And then a quick right hand. And there we are. So let's stitch that all together. So on and so forth. All right, so the rest of the piece I'll be doing on the website. It is free to give it a shot, so try a membership and meet me there. We have a whole community to help you out with this as well. The sheet music will be available for download, the whole tutorial, and everything else I've done so far. So join me there and subscribe here if you think I've earned it. All right, this is a fun one and not as difficult as you might imagine. So enjoy it. I'll see you in the next videos.